All right, today we're diving into something, well, something pretty fascinating and honestly a little chilling. It's a concept from a piece of speculative fiction, and it's called The Darchitect's Continuum. Okay, but first things first, a quick disclaimer. It's super important to remember what we're talking about here. The source material is very clear. This is a science fiction spy novel. So, keep that in your back pocket as we unpack some of these ideas. So, the creator of this whole thing, this mysterious figure they just call the Darchitect, he gave it a very specific name. He didn't call it a surveillance grid or a network. Nope. He called it the Continuum. Think about that word. It sounds so natural, right? Seamless, like it's always been there. And this really gets to the heart of what we're exploring today. You've got this technology, right? It's designed to monitor our health, to help us. But what happens when that same technology starts to monitor, well, everything else? Because the whole idea kicks off with something that is very, very real. So to really wrap our heads around how this fictional continuum even works, we've got to start with the real-world tech it's based on. And that tech is called a wireless body area network, or WBAN for short. And no, this isn't science fiction. This is a real thing. It's an actual technical standard, IEEE 802.15.6, if you want to get specific, and it's the foundation for all those smartwatches, health monitors, and wearable gadgets we use every single day. And if you look at the official specs for this standard, it's all good stuff. I mean, it's designed with things like security to keep your data private, data quality to make sure the readings are accurate, interoperability so your different devices can all play nicely together. It all sounds pretty great, doesn't it? And they really are. These networks are incredibly useful. We're talking life-saving medical applications like remote heart monitoring or ECG tracking. But also, it's in all the stuff we use daily. Our fitness trackers, our wireless earbuds, even high-tech comms for soldiers. This tech is everywhere. And for the most part, it's making things better. Okay, so we have this really promising, useful technology. But this is where the story takes a dark turn. This is where that tech gets twisted into something else, something called the Continuum. And here's the thing. It wasn't rolled out like some evil scheme. Oh no. It was sold to the public with this beautiful, soft marketing. It was all about personalized well-being and physiological harmony. It was pitched as this elegant tool to empower you. Okay, and this is the absolute genius and terrifying deception at the heart of it all. So the official story was that the system used what's called a star network. Simple, right? Data goes from your body to your personal device, like your phone. You're the center. You're in control. But that wasn't true. The real system was a mesh network. And in a mesh, your body isn't just sending its own data. It's also secretly acting as a relay, passing along the data from everybody else around you. And that's where this quote just hits you. The network was the population. Think about that. There's no central server to hack or shut down. Why? Because the network, the infrastructure for this massive control system, it was the people themselves. Everyone's devices just quietly chattering away to each other, forming this invisible web. So you've got this invisible population-wide network. How do you actually use it to control people? Well, you don't start with a hammer. You start with a whisper. At first, it just seems like a really good wellness app. You get these gentle little prompts on your watch or phone. Hey, maybe breathe a little slower or try to get a bit more sleep tonight. And there are perks. Insurance companies give you discounts. Your job might offer rewards. Who's going to argue with that? On the surface, it's great. It's working. Yeah, but underneath all those friendly diagnostics, there was a whole other layer. A second interpretation engine was running in the background. The system wasn't just collecting your heart rate. It was building a much, much deeper profile of who you are. And this is just brilliant, how they twisted the very language of the technology. Take a term like data quality. In the real tech standard, that just means your data is accurate, right? Simple. But in the Darchitect system, data quality meant how predictable you were, how well the system could classify you. It was a measure of your stress levels, your patterns, even how suggestible you are. So you see, the end game here wasn't actually about making you healthier. Not really. It was about ranking you. It was about giving you a score, a viability score that determined your worth in this new society. And once a system like this is in place, the walls start closing in. It becomes basically impossible to escape. Here's how. Remember that periodic updates feature we talked about? The one that's supposed to be for security? Well, in the Continuum, every single update was used to quietly tighten the definition of normal. The band of what was considered acceptable behavior got narrower and narrower, which meant that anyone who was even a little bit different, an outlier, stuck out like a sore thumb. And what about interoperability? That handy feature that lets all your devices talk to each other? That got weaponized too. Suddenly, your smartwatch, your smart thermostat, the medical sensors on the street, they were all speaking the exact same language. There were no gaps for you to hide in, no seams in the web. So the obvious question comes up, right? What if you just opt out? I mean, couldn't you just take off the sensor, throw away your devices, and refuse to play the game? And the answer is just chilling. Because in a network where every single person is a sensor, a blank spot isn't invisible. It's a hole. Your absence creates a void in the data. And that void becomes its own signal. It's a giant flashing red light that says non-compliance, and the system sees it immediately. So the final piece of the puzzle is how? How on earth do you sell a system this completely oppressive? How do you get an entire society to not just go along with it, but to actually welcome it? It all comes down to language. You frame it perfectly. You tell people this isn't about selection. We're not picking winners and losers here. No. We are optimizing. We're just making everything more efficient for the good of everyone. It was sold as the ultimate act of care, all backed by cold, hard data. And that really is the final haunting question this story leaves you with. In our own world, with our own technology, as we try to measure and manage and improve every aspect of our lives, when does care become control? Where is that line? And at what point does all this helpful optimization turn into something else entirely?